Hello again, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Patrick. It's after work. It's about 4:45 in the afternoon. I had a little bit of a late visit today, but I tell you, using this little wireless access point thing and doing my charting at the bedside has totally changed my workflow for the better, definitely. It's good to take care of everything like right there on the spot. I'm like updating orders and like updating things right after I talk to, or as I'm talking to doctors over the phone about stuff, and just so much a better way of doing things. I can't believe I was so resistant to it for so long. It is, it is still an adjustment, getting used to having a laptop there at the bedside and trying to position it so the laptop isn't in front of me, in between me and them, like try to keep it off to the side and tap, tap, tap out a couple of little notes and stuff as I'm doing it. But the way that the documentation forms are organized is not optimal for charting at the bedside. You do have to kind of like skip around to hit different things, depending on what order you like to do things in. And the order that I like to do things in changes all the time because it depends on, the flow of conversation and what kinds of things people are concerned about and stuff. I got to meet another new patient for the first time, and that went really well, and try to get everything organized and try to anticipate how needs will change later. Try to minimize the number of calls I get. If I can keep everybody content, happy, and well stocked with supplies when I see them, then hopefully they won't need to call for anything. So that'll be my goal. And people are going to have to call for things inevitably anyway, but I think the more I can get them situated and plan ahead for things, the less likely it'll happen. And my first couple of weeks with my own caseload have been pretty good like this. Now that I'm doing my rounds and seeing my regular people on regular days, I'm not getting that many phone calls for unanticipated needs. So that's good. I'm going to take that as a sign that the whole having my own caseload experiment is a success. I just changed the greeting on my voicemail. I've got my own company voicemail now, and I'm not really liking the whole office voicemail thing, because if I don't check my messages until later, then I feel like I'm not following up on stuff as quickly as I would be if the calls were coming right to my cell phone. So that's something I'm going to have to think about. I mean, I usually don't answer my cell phone at the bedside, but as soon as my visit is done while I'm in the car, I can just check my voicemail and do stuff. So I guess I'm going to have to get into the habit of checking my voicemail in between visits instead of just at the end of the day. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. But it seems like a silly extra step to go through to dial into another, to like bother the receptionist and waste a couple of minutes of her time to be like, oh, could you forward me to my own voicemail, please? I really should be able to do that on my own. That's okay. It's not that big a deal. This new headset thing is working out pretty good, although I had a scare last night and this morning. I thought I had lost it already. I hadn't owned it for even a full 24 hours yet. And, this $80 dongle, I thought I had misplaced, but it turns out I was able to find it. And the new dual USB charger, cigarette lighter power adapter thingy is working really well, because I find I have to recharge my mobile access point in between visits, or it'll start running low by the end of the day. The netbook is holding up okay. I just put the netbook on sleep mode in between visits, and that pretty much lasts me the whole work day. So I'm feeling a lot more organized. I've got my own desk now. That's such a weird feeling. The closest I ever came to having my own desk was sharing cubicles at the defense contractor I interned at like 10 years ago. But now I've got my own little cubbyhole, little mini desk thing with my own phone, and it still has a lot of the personal effects of the nurse who's out on maternity leave that I've swiped to their desk. It'll be interesting to see what happens when that nurse comes back from maternity leave in a few months, because there's more and more of us, and we could really use more desks. But there's only so much you can do to add more desks into places for people. Maybe I'll take over the utility closet or something. That'll be fun. I got some homework due today. I was off to a rough start with these two classes because I misunderstood when the classes actually started, but it looks like it's more relatively easy stuff. The nursing assessment class is a little bit harder. But the first couple of weeks have been no problem so far. I finally got all the textbooks like 2 weeks after classes started, because they were back ordered, which I think is horrible. I mean, I'm doing distance learning. Why can't we have our reading materials be provided to us electronically along with the actual instruction, But no, I've got to order $400 worth of textbooks from the university bookstore. Some of them were written just for that school. And, my shelves are full of books already. I literally don't have any more room to put books on my shelves. So what I'm hoping is I can take some of my nursing textbooks from my previous course of study and then store them at work above my desk on the shelf. If I get rid of my med-surg book, my pharmacology book, and all of those textbooks that I think would be useful at work, that'll clear off some space on the shelves to put the books for my current plan of study. Many of which I plan to give away after the classes are done. The books that were assigned in Religious Studies 101 were, predictably enough, many of the same books that we had to read for the English literature class they made me take. And, they're books that I've all read a long time ago, so I'll be quick to hand them out to people when the class is done. The nursing textbooks I'll probably hang on to, not the one from the last class, the Transition to Practice class came with a textbook called Advancing Your Career, that I will definitely hand out to the very first person that expresses interest in it. I really don't need a book on what quantum theory, how quantum theory informs nursing theory. I can come up with crazy BS like that on my own. So I went to, I got to do another interdisciplinary team meeting today. That was fun. So I do have a little bit of extra charting that I have to do after the workday, but it's not like the routine comprehensive assessment notes. I do those at the bedside, but I've got to do some of the weekly, interdisciplinary team meeting charting. I'll do that the way that I usually do it, which is after dinner, after I've had a chance to relax and unwind. I'll whip out the laptop and kind of warm up for homework by finishing up all my routine charting for work. But I'm really liking this whole being a regular working fella thing. It's pretty good so far. It's only the first couple of weeks, and I definitely understand some of the things that are frustrating to my coworkers who've been doing this for full time for a year or more. But to me, it's still novel. I'm still enthusiastic about it. I love going to team meeting and talking to our medical director, who is a very fascinating woman, and she's very interesting to talk to, and the pharmacist, and the social workers, and the bereavement coordinator, and the spiritual coordinator. They're all fascinating people, and I enjoy spending time and sharing my thoughts about my caseload with them, because they give me a lot of good advice and support. Next week is the core curriculum class, so and an in-service that I'm doing at another nursing home, so I should have some video up of that sometime late next week. And I haven't had any video assignments from my health assessments class, but that should be coming soon. So be on the lookout for that. That should be fun. And that's really it. I haven't managed to fold back in my usual extracurricular activities like Aikido and Go and stuff like that. But I think that's going to wait until I've adapted to taking on a full caseload before I try to do anything extra like that. Because I've only got 8 patients right now. I had 9 for about 3 hours, but then she died immediately after being transferred to my caseload. So I'm still hanging steady at about 8 patients, and they told me they were going to add 3 to my caseload this week. And to get me up to 8, 9, 10, to get me up to like 11 or 12, I think is the target they're shooting for. And then once I've got 11 or 12 down, they can start thinking about bumping me up to 15 if there's a need for it. Because our census is really high right now. At one of our last management meetings, or whatever they call them, the due diligence meetings or whatever, they showed us historical graphs of our census and how it fluctuates month by month, which is very interesting. Right before the holidays, we tend to get a spike in admissions, and a lot of them are coming from, a lot of our referrals come from hospitals. A lot come from the community. But the ones, I mean, we've been getting a lot from the hospitals lately, which is good because we all work very hard to have a good relationship with the hospitals. But they keep they keep trying to send us these referrals like at 5 o'clock p.m. on a Friday, or evening on a Saturday or Sunday, and we don't have the administrative backup then to actually process the admission and query the Medicare or whatever it is that the people in the billing office have to do. But it's not just a simple matter of sending a nurse out with a home care bag and a file of paperwork. It really takes a whole team of people to get that admission rolling. And once that administrative side of it is done, we can do it at any time. Then you can just send one nurse out with a laptop and a home care bag and get it sorted out. But without that administrative backup, nothing happens. And I think maybe sometimes people don't realize that. Oh, there's cars parked in my parking spot. I'm just going to have to park on the side of the road. Well, that's it. Just another work day. It's good adjusting to this regular workday stuff. I'm still getting used to it, but I think it'll be a good thing. And that's about it for now. Now time to relax, have some dinner, play some video games, and then do my homework, which I think is to just write a SOAP note. Have you ever heard of SOAP notes? Some nurses might have heard of this. It's it's sort of like an archaic method of charting where you write a subjective statement, an objective statement, a description of your assessment, and what the plan is, which of course are components of any kind of charting that we do. But this is just like a formal, putting things in that order, SOAP. And all I have to do is write a SOAP note. The homework assignment so far, I haven't had to crack the textbooks in this or any of my other classes, really, in order to complete the assignments. And this is no different because they taught us about how to document and how to plan and things like that. They taught us all of that in nursing school, which I've done already. But this will be the last class in the bachelor's degree program, and then I go on to the 400 level classes, which will get me out of like half of the course load when I do go to grad school. So hopefully those will be a little more challenging. It's really just stuff that I can answer off the top of my head because I had a very good nursing education at community college. I think they better prepared me than some of the other new grads that I've seen come out of the 4-year schools. But yeah, I can't complain about the easy A's. It's just expensive and it's boring. But if there's one thing my successful run through nursing school, as opposed to my unsuccessful run through engineering school, taught me, was that you got to put up with stuff that you don't like sometimes in order to get to where you want to go. So, I might as well get on with it then. And I'll probably see you tomorrow. Or you'll see me tomorrow. One of those.